All right, so this is a new thing, new data dump, I guess. But I did this extensive thing ranking the best tournaments ever, and this got me thinking, what if we just added up the rating over 2,000? So only beating players rated above the mean rating. The median rating is a good bit lower, as most distributions end up working, but the mean rating is 2,000. And if only wins against people over 2,000 count, you get credit for each point they are over 2,000. What happens if you just add up how many players have beaten over their careers? So I took 30-ish players, maybe more. I forget how many I took. Around 30 of the best players ever, and just we're gonna look at it over time, and we'll see how it comes out. You can see Cow Debonair won the first tournament. As always, there are caveats that ratings take a while to separate, so the early high performers are going to be seriously underrated by this method. One thing I like about it is it only looks at who you beat. It doesn't consider at all who you lost to or what your losses were. And so if someone played a long time and maybe was super elite for a while and then dropped off, they don't get punished. Or it took a while to get good but then got amazing. They don't get punished for that, except in that like there was time they could have scored more points than they did. But it's not like it's going to work against them. It's not going to permanently lower win percentages or something like that. Um, and I think it'll just be interesting to look at over time. I haven't watched the video through. I thought it would be fun to react as I watched it. So we'll let it run, and I'll be pausing, and we'll be talking. And obviously, these were not the only two scores after the first tournament, but I didn't end up including Spitfire and other players. Spike Spiegel is someone who I considered including, and I probably will eventually add more people. But for now, I just wanted to include the 30 or so best, um, not including some short timers, but including some others. Okay. Then we get the first TTAC. We see we already have a bunch of big names, you know. We see Mafi Josie climbing. And I'm curious who's going to have number one, because Kaus is going to start number one. He wins the first tournament. Um, by the way, if you see a number like 230, that means that Broccoli beat players. You know, if she beat a 2100 and a 2130, that's 100 and 130 points above 2000. That would add up to 230. She could have also beaten, you know, a 2015 player, you know, 8 times or whatever, and get a similar score. That was not good multiplication. Pretend that never happened. Um, so that's what the score is. It's kind of how many above average players did you beat and how much above average were they? Jaws sighting. So Cookie may be our second number one. That seems very likely. Notice Bren shoots up real quick. Bren had a very good start to TTA. Mafi Josie and Kamikaze, as well as Seto, I expect to fight for number one. Jaws and Grant may be high at points. Okay, so Cookie claims number one, and Bren claims number two. Good job, Bren. This is as we move into. I don't know if we've even hit Triad Wars 3 yet, which Bren wins. I don't think we have. So Bren's going to be scoring really well here in the early days. Um, and we're getting the emergence of Doc Evil. I think this is the first tournament he's going to win. Let's let him shoot up the list. Yeah, he is. Mafi Josie, too. Mafi Josie takes the lead. Mafi Josie took the lead for half a sec there. Let's go back. Congrats to Mafi Josie, another number one. Um, I think I've either released or I'm about to release an interview with Mafi Josie. He was the next person I interviewed. Cool to see him showing up as a number one at quite early in the site. We're clearly about to get Doc Evil dominance, but massive credit there. Also, Sujiro has appeared, as well as Kefka. Yeah, so Cookie takes a big lead first. All right. And then Doc Evil shoots past him. Oh my god. Massive lead for Doc Evil. Notice Kefka really rising. Like Kamikaze, we expect to score really well, but Kefka really rising. Very much of tiers here, right? There's the Doc Evil tier, then there's kind of like Cookie, maybe Mafi Josie and Kefka. Then we have Kamikaze, Bren, Kaus, Sujiro, and Broccoli. And then we have still very good Grat, Jaws, Seto, Karmazin, and Vid. Ooh, Karmazin's about to start rocking up the list. Oh man. Doc Evil's lead is almost double. Will he reach double? He does not quite reach double. Looks like Kefka might be moving past Cookie into second. That would be pretty impressive. Yeah, props to Kefka. And Karmazin rocketing up with his win in Cypher. Yeah, so this will be the last we see of Karmazin. He'll score 872 and stop there. We see the emergence of Vid and Jadat. I hope this looks good for Jadat. Who's our best tournament non-winner right now? It's got to be Kefka. With Mafi Josie, the only one to be a number one, so he still has a case. And then Jaws and Jadat are in the conversation. Okay. D also appearing. D is a player of two peaks. He does really well in around 2005-06, and then disappears and comes back and does really well around kind of 2012-13, 2011-12 maybe, somewhere in that range. It'll be fun to see him peak at two different times. All right, Kamikaze rising, not with a tournament win. Now here's Bren's tournament win. But he moves up a bit, but doesn't beat the toughest competition. Now we get Eris, which is Sujiro's huge win. But it's Kamikaze who rockets into first here. Sujiro rockets into third. Doc Evil we won't see again, so if someone passes him, they'll be ahead. Doc Evil obviously did it at like a faster rate than anyone else, but his number will slowly fall as more people pass him. But Kamikaze is, I think, our fifth number one. We had Cow Debonair, we had Cookie, we had Mafi Josie, we had more of Cookie, then we had Doc Evil, and now we have Kamikaze. So I think that's five, with Cookie having held it multiple times. Yeah. Fun tiers. I always think Kamikaze versus Sujiro is a good rivalry. Kefka's still looking so impressive, and we're starting to see the emergence. We're seeing very early Scythe, his really good periods in 2009. That's going to come later, the start of Kazik and Meta. All right. With TTAC3, Kazi has taken a firm lead. He does win that one. All right. Seto starting to rise. Tribe Wars 4, Seto makes the finals. So this is when he moves from being, clearly very good, but of the pack, to shooting towards the top. We're into 2005-06. This is the emergence of Tezuka. And Koner has joined the site. And Koner is going to rack up results here, much like he racked up icons. I expect to see Koner be at least very close to the top quite soon. All right, Cookie rising again. I think he's about to win his second tournament. Yep, TTAC 4. Cookie wins his second tournament. Who wins the second? Is the second to break the Doc Evil line. Who will be the first to break 2000? Kazi's got to be the pick, right? But we'll see. We get Zell. Now Zell is the one that Meta won. Where's Meta? Okay, not an amazing, not one of the really standout tournament wins. Seto really rising. Actually, honestly, well, it looks like Kazi's going up, so Kazi will probably break 2000. But Seto's probably a good pick for next to break 2000. Yeah, Kazi gets there. Oh, Kazi gets there comfortably. Seto wins Triad Wars 5 to basically get tied with Cookie. Who else are we seeing? Anyone interesting at the bottom? Kazik, Tezuka. Oh, we've seen the emergence of Delial. Let's see where that happened. No Delial. And then suddenly Delial is just shooting up, skips past like 7 people. We got D, we've mentioned Jaws. Always so impressed by Jaws. I think we've talked a little bit about everyone here. Jadat had the finals in Eris and is currently just behind Graf. They both passed Kefka in the kind of non-winners group. So we really have a Grat versus Jadat rivalry, because I think Kefka won't appear much anymore. So it's really between Grat and Jadat right now for best to not win. Right? And I'd really keep an eye out, obviously, for Delial. Seto has already risen, but will keep rising. And Koner, too. Okay, Delial's still rising. Yep, Delial passes someone every half a second. Is already in 6th, and he 1K'd it. Yeah, that's a big score. All right. Can people hold him off for long? Seto is indeed the second to break 2000. Anything interesting happening at the bottom? Mafi Josie still getting points in places. Mafi Josie, we have this foursome now of Grat, Jadat, Kefka, and Mafi Josie. I can't highlight those 4 for some reason. All right. Ooh, Jaws shooting up. Will Jaws take the lead in that group? And also, Seto's about to pass Kamikaze for first. We're going to have our 6th person to be in first, I think. Koner has not risen yet. that Delhi has. Delhi's going to keep rising, obviously. So Seto takes the lead, and Delhi's rocketing up. Delhi almost passed Kamikaze. In fact, tried were 6. Didn't he? No, he beat Kamikaze in the final of Kate Sith. Tried were 6. He beat Seto and Meta. Um, Meta's, I think, basically done with his career. He's kind of in a similar space. Kind of interesting. He has this really good run with this really high win rate, but mostly doesn't beat people who are that incredible. So we're going to see a lot of these non-winners, the Jaws, the Jadats, the Grats of the world, who even when they've played a similar time frame to Meta, are racking up enough more impressive results that even with lower win rates, they're looking similar by this measure. I want to say Kaus is underrated here, just so hard to get points at the very start. And Koner has started to rise. And Jaws looking the best non-winner. Will Delhi pass Kazi? Well, Koner has just risen. Koner just rocketed up into the top 5, and we get the emergence of Turds, who wins Vincent. But I think we'll be sitting on around 800 for a bit, because after Vincent, he goes a bit quiet. Now, Koner, wow, Koner almost caught up to Delhi. Man, 2008 was a crazy year. Kaus has started to score points again because he had a great 2008. Koner had an insane 2008. Delhi had a crazy 2008. Seto had a fantastic 2008. He's our first to hit 3,000. Jaws had a good early 2007 into 8. Anyone new on the bottom of the list? Turds is the new entrance. I've compared Turds and Tezuka's career. I don't think I've published anything a few times. But Tezuka starts a bit ahead. Turds, at this point, has caught up. But they're pretty close for a while, and I want to keep an eye. Maybe they'll both fall off the list, or maybe they won't stay similar. But I'm curious, because they end up having kind of similar peak times, I think, in some ways. All right, Seto's lead just growing as he wins Rhinoa. We get the appearance of Great Sephiroth. Well, he's certainly going to move up fast. Yeah, he's moving. Koner passes Delial. I mean, that's not going to last, but he's about to pass Kamikaze, too. Damn, impressive. Yeah, Koner moves into second. And Sujiro has started to play again. Can Sujiro reach the top 4 again? God, Sujiro's so good. Kaze currently in the lead for best non-winner over Jaws, but I wouldn't count out Jadat. Yeah, and Scythe has arisen. We saw Scythe very early on with like 40-ish points, but we're in the end of 2008, early 2009, he starts really dominating. I would not be surprised if he, breaks 1,500 very shortly. Yeah, he's already up to 1330. Delhi has reclaimed his lead over Koner and become the second to break 3,000. And he started a good bit later than Seto. Yeah. So we sort of have Seto, then Delhi and Koner, then Kazi and Sujiro. And then a whole bunch of players, some winners, some non-winners. But like you look at something like this and you sort of think like those top 5, those were all going to be winners, and many of them multi-time winners, right? The only one in that top 5 that's not a multi-time winner is Sujiro, and he played by far the least amount of time. And then the next group you kind of have like they could have won, they could have not won. And about, you look at the next group, which is really like from Kazik to Bren is not, or Kazik to Doc, but from Kazik to Bren is not that huge a gap. You have a bunch of winners, a bunch of non-winners, and I think a lot of them it could have gone either way. Someone like Great Sephiroth will become a multi-time winner, but by the time that happens, we'll see a much bigger score. Doc Evil had the lower scores from early and didn't play that long, or it would be higher. But I think you look at something like this and you see how, we also got the first sighting of Yojimbo. He makes the list, I think, a bunch before I ever do. But yeah, we get the first sighting of Yojimbo. That's cool. And yeah, just one of those things of like, Mafi Josie, Grat, Jadat could easily be winners. Kazik or Jaws too, of course. And a bunch of people that won one could easily not be winners. And that doesn't mean they're not deserving as winners. It's just, chances of fate could have swung whatever ways, right? Okay, Kaus rising again. What a great 2008. Seto and Deli just racking up points over the field, but Koner really good too. And then Kazi and Sujiro still close. Kaus moving up again. What a great 2008. It really is 2008 for me that makes Kaus like, a top 20 player all time because he wins one tournament and then does fine for a while. But that tournament, it's hard to really judge the competition to it. I probably tend to underrate it, but even so, it would be hard to rate it that highly. But it's when he earns 4 icons in 2008, including a finals against what I think is really, really strong opposition. Um, and you can see here that he makes the leap in my estimation of having had these two really impressive peaks. Uh, Scythe, we're into his good period. He has indeed broken 1500. D, rose into this crowd of Jadat, Grat, and D. Yeah, we got the first Yojimbo sighting. Let's keep an eye on him. Will he stay on the list? Nope, he falls off. Scythe going to break 2000. Scythe going to be the sixth to break 2000. That's really impressive. Kazik also looking so good here. Yeah. And just a very clear top 5 right now. So Deli wins Irvine, which boosted him. Now I win Triad, where's 7? Oh, and I did make it onto the list. I'm here. When did I appear? I didn't notice. Always worth keeping an eye on yourself. Totally missed it. All right. So I have a big score in Triad, where's 7. Great Sephiroth rising. He's going to be the next to break 2000, I think. And Deli and Koner are climbing, as if they needed more points. Alright. I'm still climbing, but we have some new sightings. Flash of Time has appeared, breaking 1500. Note, to get on the list now, you need like well over 1,000 points. So there's going to be a bunch of big successes people have that won't show up for us, because if someone jumps from like 300 to 1,000 really quick, that'll look like a huge jump if the list included 30 or 40 people, but doesn't here. Turds has maintained the lead over Tezuka, who isn't currently on the list. Oh, I should say, this doesn't include Team Rhinoas. It includes the single Rhinoas, but not teams. So Slash of Time is going to be hugely underrated here. Yojimbo is going to be losing stuff here. Nightwish is going to be penalized here. Delial is going to not get credit for a tournament win here. I'm sure I'm missing someone. People like Demonic will never appear here, but maybe could have if that was included. Probably not. The list is pretty hard to make it onto. But just keep in mind, stuff like this doesn't include Rhino. It doesn't include closed tournaments. That's a second tournament of Deli's being cut. Nightwish won 2 Team Rhinoas. They're both cut. Slash won 1, I believe, as well as 1 individual Rhinoa. Yojimbo won 1 or 2. So these players all have achievement cut here. Anyways, where are we? We got a clear big 3. Great Sephiroth is past Sujiro. He is the 5th to break 2,500. Scythe's 2009. So good, man. What a spot for Scythe. Kazik might be the first non-winner to break 2,000. That'd be pretty cool. Jadat started to climb again. Jadat has passed a bunch of good players, and now it looks like it's between Kazik and Jadat, given Jaws has disappeared, and given that he's clearly left Grat behind. And we should expect to see Slash to rise here. Okay, so I'm still rising. That's cool. I think I'm about to win another event. Yeah, I win TTAC 7. Yojimbo makes it back on the list. What else are we seeing here? That seems about it. Will I pass Kamikaze first, or will Great Sephiroth? I pass Great Sephiroth. Oh, Deli's approaching Seto. That's getting really close. I move into 4th. Deli is really close on Seto. Oh, Seto must have won the next tournament. That's spiking. Oh, man. Got Seto, Deli, and Koner for such a long time. Were just so much more success than anyone else had before. It's ridiculous. It really is. They were just so far ahead of the amount of achievement that anyone had done beforehand. All right. Great Sephiroth passes me. He's about to break 3,000 before I do. Nope. I sneak past him. Sweet. Yojimbo still on the list. MC makes the list and Nightwish. So we get Nightwish and MC for the first time. And at this moment, they're a little behind Slash, so I think they're going to pass him a little ahead of Yojimbo. Kazik actually growing his lead. Kazik with a comfortable lead for non-winners. Kazik has a lot of super impressive wins. He beat Seto a couple times. His Vincent run is just one of the great non-winning runs, uh, possibly the greatest. Okay, let's let it run. All right, I'm rising. Oh, Sujiro's rising again. No, he's not. Someone's rising over Sujiro. He's the one moving. Kazik rising again. Kazik hits 2,500. Damn, well done. Oh, and MC just rocketed up. Let's look at that. One sec. Look at MC. He's on the bottom right now, right? That purple go. Yeah. So with the win of Barrett, he passes Sujiro. Kazik about to pass Kamikaze. Did not see that coming. Does that actually happen? No, it looks like he never quite passes Kazi. GS, is he gonna pass me? Nope. Am I about to win something? No, he won TTAC 8, but I beat him in the finals. So I got some points for that. And I finally passed Koner. So we have a very clear top 5, right? Top 6. Very clear top 6. With MC moving real fast. Slash and Yojimbo still strongly placed, but not looking threatening yet. Nightwish may be a bit more threatening. Sipes' golden period is past. He broke 2,000. Jadat broke 2,000 too. Cookie earned some points here. Cookie had not moved for a while, but has finally jumped up. And Turds is moving up. Turds passes Cookie here, and I think we'll stay ahead of him for the rest of the run. Oh, Kamikaze wins Squall. Huge score. Huge score. All right. So I'm close to Delhi. I think it'll be a little bit before I pass. Kazi repasses Koner. Great Sephiroth down to 6th, but looking good. MC breaks 3,000. God, all of them active at this point in time too, so really strong. All right, MC's clearly doing good. Do I pass Seto? I do pass Deli and Seto. Sweet. How was that? Was that Rufus? That was Rufus. Okay. So I'm the first to break 6,000. Deli and Seto, neck and neck. Koner and Kamikaze, neck and neck. MC and Great Sephiroth, neck and neck. And then we have a crowd. Yojimbo and Nightwish have finally moved up a bit. Again, Slash of Time's underrated here. It doesn't include some of his biggest achievements. D moved up again too, and we're probably going to see him move up more. Okay, Deli passes Seto. Seto passes him back. Okay. Ooh, Seto going to repass me? Seto does repass me. He wins Ward. That makes sense. MC maybe is just ahead of Great Sephiroth. I'm not sure if Great Sephiroth plays anymore. By this measure, at least. But MC has a lot of really high value wins by this measure. A lot of really strong players. Again, so impressed. So Yojimbo is getting close to the top of the board. And will probably take the lead at some point. It's hard to imagine he won't. Kazik, though, that's really standing out to me. Oh, Piggyman appeared. Congrats. It's really hard to hit the list at this point because you have to pass such big names. So it means Piggyman has been quietly just off the list, doing really well for a while. We'll see how he rises among the great non-winners like Kazik and Jadat. Nightwish probably won't ever get quite as high as he should, given he has 2 tournament wins that won't be counted here. All right, Yojimbo's still climbing. Okay, I repassed Seto for some reason. Flash of Time starting to climb. He just went up like 500 points, passes Cookie. Oh, Vid appeared. Yeah, Vid did really well in this era. Yeah, Vid jumping. All right, Seto passes me again. Koner, MC, and Kazi all really close now. I think Kazi's basically retired, but Koner might be about to win his second. No, the second was Nanaki, so Koner just won his second. Yojimbo's getting close. Anything else interesting happening? So Yojimbo passes Great Sephiroth and Kazi, MC, and Koner in one fell swoop. Ooh, this top four is going to be close, man, because we're hitting the period of Yojimbo's greatest dominance. Delhi still has a tournament to win that's counted and a tournament that he'll win which doesn't get counted here. So Delhi probably underrated here. I still have a couple wins. Seto has a finals or two. Ew. Yeah, and Yojimbo won Quistis as well. It's gonna be quite close at the end here. Okay, anything interesting happening at the bottom? Yeah, we have the emergence of Chickeny. My pick for best non-winner, so we'll see where he lands. Curious to see it. And Vid really hit a high score here. Okay, Koner's still rising. Will Koner repass? Koner does, I guess it was just momentarily, but does repass Yojimbo. No, he doesn't win Nanaki. Vid wins Nanaki. He wins Triad Wars 11, and that's how he passed Yojimbo for a moment there. Got passed back. Okay, Chickeny rising. Yeah, Chickeny really rising. Yep. Damn. Smokes appears. Smokes has been quietly doing steady work, but this was 2013 was his year. Where's our best to not win right now? Chickeny has taken the lead for that over Kazik, Jadat, and Piggyman. Jadat holding on well, given that most of his results were in the early era when there were just less points to beat people for. This is actually just a very, very impressive spot. I might underrate the case for Jadat as best non-winner. Okay, what's happening at the top? Yojimbo is past Delhi. Okay. And me. And Seto. So Yojimbo takes the lead. Slash of Time breaks 3,000, even though, as I've said, this is not a metric that's particularly kind to him. Smokes is going to break 3,000. D might break 3,000. Vid broke 3,000. Turds maybe starting to climb again. Slash still rising. Slash still rising. Nicely done. Yojimbo's lead growing. All right, Delhi passes Seto again. Can Delhi pass Yojimbo? That would be crazy. Just started looking for things of interest. All right, Chickeny almost passes Nightwish. Smokes is going to pass Vid. Yojimbo, okay, Yojimbo's lead is getting bigger, not smaller. All right, with the Dio, we might have the appearance of Akiyama. All right, we do have the appearance of Akiyama. 2281. And Turds breaks 3,000, becomes the, just counting, 14th player to break 3,000. So 3,000 pretty exclusive club. D and Kazik quite close. And you can see that like players as great as Cookie are not actually that close. Again, his results are early. The 4,000 club is only 7 players. The Great Sephiroth is so close. The 5,000 club is just 5 players. And I think if you look at TTA's history, I'm not saying this is the top 5. I don't think this is the top 5. I don't have Koner as the 5th best player ever. But I do think they're the 5 most kind of decorated and accomplished. There's some cases for other people. You know, Great Sephiroth and Slash have each won 3 tournaments, and Koner only won 2. So there's definitely a case for those 2 as more decorated than Koner. But Koner played longer and earned so many icons. All right, let's see what comes next. We're approaching the end here. All right, Turds moving up. That's nice to see. At this point, the list is going to be pretty stagnant because not many people played the last few things. Okay, now we're seeing Nephilim. Oh, that could be a nice boost. And Seto a nice boost. Oh, Tri Wars 13. Okay, I actually didn't know how this would end. That should be the end. Yeah. So here is our final current standings. This does not include the current TTAC tournament, which may or may not be done by the time this is published. This is our final top 20. I'm just going to say a brief thing about each of the 20, and then we'll call it a day. In 20th, we have Jadat. Given how early he played and how ratings clearly inflate over time, which means the people you're beating, higher ratings to beat are available, you get more points. Jadat's 20th place finish is really impressive. Cookie in 19th, I feel similarly about. You know, Cookie's a 2-time winner. I think I have mixed feelings. I think he's in some ways one of the weaker two-time winners. You know, he played a really long time, and this is something that doesn't penalize you for continuing to play, and he didn't earn that many extra points. But also, he is a legitimate case for GOAT at one point in time, and so many people don't. That I always feel torn at Cookie. Like I'm tempted to think he's the 20th best all time, but I'm also tempted to think he's the 10th best all time, or even higher, and that really leaves me torn. Sujiro's always incredible. If you look at this list, who played the fewest tournaments on it, it's Sujiro. Um, Sujiro and Akiyama played a similar number, but so it's Sujiro or Akiyama, and yeah, it's one of those two, and that they're both on the list is really impressive. But Sujiro did it mostly in a time when error ratings were lower, therefore wins earned him less. So I think, yeah, Sujiro's place here is so impressive. So is Akiyama's. Is Kazik the highest scoring player to not win? No, he is not. Incidentally, Piggy was at 2200 something, so he's clearly like 21st. Um, and certainly has high hopes to keep moving up this list. But depending how you calculate stuff, lists show up differently. But I think this was an interesting way of doing it. So real credit to Kazik, you know, two-time finalist, one of the best to not win. Akiyama's still going. He's going to keep rising. Anyone have any doubt he's joining the 3000 Club? I do not have any doubt. D sadly will not join the 3000 Club on this. Multiple wins versus Yojimbo earned him like 1,000, 1,500 of the points. Like maybe half his points come from Yojimbo, maybe more. Really difficult matchup for Yojimbo. Probably around half actually. Vid 3000, really good run, kind of 2011 to 13. Smokes, similar era, really good run. Turds has really been very good for a long time. I think he has a kind of weak period after winning Vincent. But if you actually look who he was facing, he just kept losing over and over to the absolute top people on the site and just got really tough pairings for a while. And was actually, I think, just very steadily very good. Chickeny has a tremendous late peak. I'm a little surprised to see him quite this high. But honestly, it might just be right. He was crushing literally everyone but Yojimbo. Nightwish, phenomenal player. This underrates him, and he scores great. Similar for Slash of Time. Great Sephiroth, I think of as the fifth or sixth best player of all time. And I still think that looking at this. But I think the case for other people is better than I have thought. Now, he played barely more tournaments than Akiyama and Sujiro. So, like, this is really good. You know, he played less tournaments than everyone ahead of him, everyone close behind him. But there have been a number of measures I've looked at. It really helps that he has 3 tournament wins, right? Because most of the people you'd put ahead of him that aren't kind of the big 4 have fewer tournament wins than he does and played significantly longer. Slash has the same number. Slash has a case, but Slash played a lot longer too. I still kind of think Great Sephiroth's the 5th or 6th best ever, but depending how you consider Doc Evil. But there's a number of metrics where you come out with, okay, you know, Nightwish has a higher career win rate in tournaments. Other people did achieve more, usually over more, over more time, but did achieve more. Okay, Kamikaze. His Squall run is worth 1,600 points on its own. It's the highest scoring run of anyone. Absolutely ridiculous. Kazi is an absolute beast. And, if you took the top 10 players here as your top 10 of all time, you'd have a very good top 10, but you would be missing Doc Evil. I think this is correctly 10 of the top 11. I think Nightwish up is your 10 of your top 11 plus Doc Evil. How you order them is very much up to you, but I think that is your top 11. I always put Sujiro 12th, but clearly a bunch of people have an argument for that spot. Yeah, clearly a bunch of people do. Still kind of thinking Sujiro. I think I currently have Sujiro 12th and Akiyama 13th. Again, this is just one way of calculating it. People are not punished for losses here. There's a whole bunch of ways you could do this differently. But this is kind of counting like who'd you beat, how good were the people you beat. And that's a cool measure. Okay, so we have Kamikaze. In sixth, we have MC, clearly winning the battle of the Polish brothers by this measure. And also playing, a little longer than Great Sephiroth, a little longer than Nightwish, but less than a lot of the players here did. Then we have Koner, who just so tremendously good for so long. I think, if you try to find that absolute peak of just like going deep in 5 tournaments in a row, there are lots of times where he gets icons in a bunch of tournaments in a row, but doesn't necessarily have that really transcendent run like a Delhi 0708 or Seto 0708 or Yojimbo 2013-14 or 2012 to 14 or was up 2009 or slash 2009 or GX 2010 or MC Nightwish kind of 2010-11. Um, but he's sort of like he's basically like the third best player or the fifth best player on the site for 5 years, right? Just constantly putting up excellent year after year, excellent years, and I think really deserves this fifth place finish. I think I wasn't sure coming in because I know he has such a good record in rounds before the icons and a really poor record in the quarterfinals. And I thought that might have been dropping off facing good opposition, but Koner beat so much strong opposition to get here. This is a well-earned fifth place. And then our top four is just so far ahead of the field and also obviously so close to each other. Like, I sneak out first here, but like it's by 58 points. Who cares? That is nothing, right? That could so easily be changed by just the slightest little happenstance. But even at this point, like a gap of 700 when you're 3,000 ahead of the field basically is is really small. It's one good tournament away. Um, Not even like necessarily a win, just one good tournament away. So I think something really cool here is the top four are incredibly close. They've basically been in every permutation. Everyone here has been ahead of each other person here at one point in the list. That's definitely true. And everyone here has at one point been behind everyone else here. The only question is whether everyone passed Seto. I think everyone did. Everyone was ahead of Yojimbo for a while. They were ahead of me for a while, but Yojimbo passed me late. Yeah, everyone here has been ahead of everyone else. It could be ordered any which way. Um, Due respect to Doc Evil, I think this is your top four of all time. If you want to throw Doc Evil in there, you can. If you want to call him fifth, you can. But I think this is a pretty clear top four and a really good top four. And I like when the numbers come out with, yeah, pick whatever order you like. It's gonna be good. And these numbers are so close. Just whoever has the next good tournament is gonna be in the lead. And yeah, I like this list. I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of following it over time. Um, Curious, who fills the next spots. I think Piggyman must be 21st, and will likely. I think he's close enough that he's if he knocks, I don't know what's happened in TTAC 14, but he could have easily moved comfortably onto the list in TTAC 14, and if he didn't there, he will the next tournament. Yeah. I think Tezuka's probably in the mid thousands, a bit farther away. I'm not sure how close Midas is either. I would guess maybe both are probably around 2000. It's my guess, but I really don't know. I didn't sufficiently look at my spreadsheet before coming because I wanted to be surprised by the chart. So, hope you enjoyed. Cheers.